All right. Hello and welcome to Just Animals podcast. I'm Ellen. With me, as always, is my dad, aka Guy.
Good morning, Pod World. The things I do for my daughter.
And for the show and for the animals. Don't say it's from you. Didn't do this shit for me. You did not do this for me, please. All right. And then Sam.
I wouldn't wake up this early for Sam.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Well, that's okay.
Go ahead, Sam. Say hi.
Oh, hi. I didn't know it was my turn. Hi. Hi, everybody.
It's going to be a good show. And then before I introduce our very, very special guest who is coming in live all the way from Cambodia, I just want to give a shout out to Petruso Ink. They actually made me this cool custom, let me move my mic so you guys can see, Plaidypus shirt. Yeah, it's a pun. It's actually super cute.
Aw,
Sam,
I am jealous.
We can't hear you. Get closer to the mic.
So thank you so much, Petruso Ink, for the custom surprise Plaidypus shirt. It's awesome. Definitely go check them out. I'll tag them in our Instagram. And now on to our special guest, Steve Koyle from Elephant Care Unchained. How are you doing today? Or, well, I guess this evening.
Yeah.
I know. I told you you're going to be excited, Sam.
8:30 p.m. on a Sunday night here. So I think I'm 14 hours ahead of you guys. So I'm good.
Okay.
Good. So why don't you go ahead and give our listeners a little background on who you are, and then, of course, your nonprofit and what you're doing over in Southeast Asia. And we'll get going.
Well, I'm Steve Koyle. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
You guys can hear me okay? Yeah? Okay, good.
Yes.
I'm Steve Koyle. I am the only person, the founder of Elephant Care Unchained. It's a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping elephants all over the world. I have currently 6 projects, or I have projects in 6 countries currently, depending on COVID, what happens with that. But I've been in 6 countries throughout Southeast Asia helping elephants in any capacity that I can. I've loved animals my whole life. I have a degree in zoology from Michigan State. What else? Yeah, I've been working with elephants for 19 years or so. So a little over 19 years. So there you have it.
So essentially, you're the elephant guy. I mean, you're the elephant guy, 1,000%.
I've been called Elephant Man for numerous reasons, but yes.
So,
got that one?
Awesome.
Got it,
in
right?
Cambodia,
Yeah, we got it. I'm surprised Guy didn't get it.
Got it.
Yes.
Yeah.
In Cambodia, are elephants used for work purposes, or tell us are they just in zoos, or what is going on with elephants in Cambodia?
Well, there are I think about 200 captive elephants here in Cambodia. Most of them are in zoos / camps, touristy places. I'm at a place called Elephant Valley Project, which is one of the best projects in the world for Asian elephants. And the program that they have here, they have 11 elephants here that I'm helping out with right now. But basically, no, they're not really used for logging or anything like that, or any type of. They're used for more tourist type things, whether it be a zoo or riding or to hug and kiss. So, which none of that is done here. So anyway.
Hold on before you continue, Guy. Please educate our listeners and ourselves. So actually, Edward was your son, Dad, did the tourist thing 101 not to do with the elephants when he was in Thailand. So go ahead and educate us on the appropriate tourism when seeing elephants in Southeast Asia and what's not appropriate tourism.
Well, I think the best rule, the best thing that I say is put yourself in the animal's place. Okay? Everybody loves elephants. So people want to hug and kiss them and bathe them and do all these things with them because it makes them feel good. They think that they're giving the elephant love, right? Well, the elephants don't necessarily need to be bathed with you. They don't want hugs and kisses from you. That makes you feel good, but does that really do anything for the elephant, right? It doesn't. And you can apply that to any animal in captivity, right? Do they really want to be standing there? I mean, elephants are so incredibly tolerant of us dumbasses that, can I swear? Sorry, I just did.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Have you not heard another episode?
If I swear more, if I swear, I'll be getting more comfortable with you guys. So
perfect.
But yeah,
release the passion. Release the passion.
Yeah, the passion.
Elephants are very tolerant of us. They are too good of a species.
Impressive because most people aren't tolerant of people. Yeah, no kidding.
Exactly. So they put up with a lot of nonsense and for many, many years. And so the general rule that I have is put yourself in the animal's place. You take yourself out of the equation. Take your 10 seconds, your 15 seconds of feeling good is like a lifetime of misery for the elephant or any other animal for that matter. If that helps, if that helps.
Sure. Right. And
I
then
love
what
you,
about
Steve.
riding? Yeah. Okay. Well, Sam obviously is going to propose to you by the end of the episode. Sam's going to make you a nice ring out of weeds.
Yeah, I used to be a zookeeper, Steve. So I know.
Me too.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. It's good. Yeah.
Did you do elephants, Sam?
No. There are things that I love elephants, but I didn't want to work with them. Let's just say that. I love them. I love to appreciate them for what they are and from afar.
So,
but
Steve, what is appropriate?
You're cutting off Sam. You just cut off Sam.
I'm
Thank
sorry.
You.
Oh. No,
sorry, Sam.
What about riding them?
To it. What are you talking about?
Like those?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. What about those jungle tours? I'm going to call out my older brother here in a second. But yeah, what about the jungle tours through Thailand or Laos or Cambodia? Ooh, I rode an elephant through the jungle. Yay or nay?
Yeah. Again, people love elephants, right? So either they don't care or they don't know.
Right.
And it's usually they don't care, to be honest. Well, because you love them, and I've given talks to people about this kind of thing, and then they still go to Thailand and ride an elephant, right? Now, riding elephants, they don't need to be ridden, right? There's not. There's no.
It's not a horse.
Well, correct, but even the whole riding elephant thing, questions: do horses really want to be ridden all the time? That's a whole nother topic. But some horses probably yes, some horses probably no. I don't know.
Yeah.
Elephant wise, they really don't need to be ridden. It's just a matter of because they tolerate us and allow us to do that doesn't mean that we should do it, right?
Right. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, and you need to break the elephant.
That's a big takeaway.
So with these,
you need to break the elephant in some capacity.
I don't know, zoos or sanctuaries, would they survive if they didn't have?
Oh, like a horse? You have to saddle break them? Oh.
Hello?
Eek. Sure.
Hello?
Sure.
Was there a question?
Oh, hold on. You cut out, Steve. You're gonna need to have you repeat that in a second. Sorry, repeat that. So you were just touching on that. You have to break an elephant like you break a horse.
We hear you now. We see you now.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. It's probably just the Wi-Fi. Yeah. I mean, you have to break the elephant in order to get on it.
Oh. Ew. Ooh.
So
no.
it's and depending how it's done, where it's done, the captive elephant is a very tragic story. It's a very tragic story. They live too long. I mean, I'm gonna get too emotional here in a minute, but they live too long. They put up with 50, 60 years of slavery and abuse, right?
Sure. Right.
Just for our entertainment. And so at some point we need to have these elephants kind of cash in their retirement and kind of just be elephants and be allowed to be free, to either take a free step, to get a drink of water, to scratch their butt, to do what they choose to do.
Right.
It's just a tragic story all the way around because people love them, really.
Sure. Right. Oh, yeah. It's like, I love you so much. I'm going to ruin your life. Yay.
Yeah. So are there any parks that where you are, Steve, that have appropriate elephant
tourism?
I don't know. Anything in captivity probably is not appropriate.
I mean, there's a few legitimate ones out there. I mean, this place that I'm at now, the Elephant Valley Project in Cambodia, is an amazing place. They've got 11 elephants here, like I said, on 1,500 hectares. So I have to take a motorbike from one place of the camp, 20 minutes the other direction. And these elephants kind of browse and hang out in the local village forests. And
cool.
so with that, the Elephant Valley Project here, they donate or they provide 1 kilogram of rice to every village household so that the elephants can use their forest and eat their trees. right? So it's a whole, they provide medical treatment for all the villages that have, the surrounding forest that the elephants can be in. So there's an incentive for the villages to
leave them alone.
No, to allow the elephants to eat their trees and to hang out in their forest, right?
Right.
So
right.
it's really a whole cultural thing here. But also the elephants are kind of like semi-wild out here. They're walking through the forest. We got to go find them, and it's a pretty amazing place. And so this is a great place here in Cambodia. Thailand's got a few. India's struggling. It's just there's
India's
different
struggling
dynamics.
with a lot of things.
There's
right
different
now.
issues with different countries that you go into. But
Sure.
there's a few out there. There's a few legitimate ones out there. A lot of them, on social media are kind of misleading. But they're here now, and so we have to do what we can for them. Make their lives as best we can, because most places don't have the space that these guys have here. But that doesn't mean that you can't do a lot more for them.
Right. Doesn't mean
so
they
it's
still
not
can't be happy.
contained in a reserve or something like that. It's just they're pretty much in the wild. Is that right?
They get to be elephants, essentially.
Yeah. Technically, here they're in a protected forest around the village and around the communities. They're in a protected forest, and the mahouts will be with them, and they'll move them around throughout the day. And they kind of hang out in certain areas, and they kind of pair up. There's 3 here, 4 there, 2 there, 2. So yeah, it's a pretty cool place.
So
That's
aside
so
from
cool.
letting them eat the trees in the neighborhood or village, do they create any destruction? Because elephants will push trees down and things like that.
Sure.
So what do they do? Malicious behavior do the elephants have that the?
It's nothing malicious. They're being.
It's what they're doing. It's just what they. Yeah.
They're doing what they're supposed to. They're doing what they've done for years, and whether they're wild elephants or captive elephants. Here, the mahouts are with the elephants to make sure they don't go into the farm, next door, or they don't eat the banana trees that the farmer's growing to sell, So they'll stop them from doing that. But outside of that, it's fine. Wild elephants have we have issues here right now with the wild elephants coming in to places they've never came before. So there's kind of a conflict between the captive elephants here that we've had to move away from the wild elephants because the deforestation that's going on has forced these elephants to move into parts where they normally wouldn't be. So there's so much
like
going
every other place in the world. Huh, yeah. Weird.
How is the
weird?
population?
Every other place in the world, you've got animals where they shouldn't be.
how is the population of the wild elephants versus your elephants? I mean, your elephants probably are being sustained well. How's the wild? You said they're moving in because of deforestation.
Yeah, but they migrate through. So they migrate through.
Okay, so they're always on the move.
Yeah, they don't just sit here at camp and they will, they come out in the evening time or early morning. They'll eat what they eat, and then they move out deep into the forest, and they might come back if there's food still available there. But they're constantly moving and searching for food.
Right.
So that's
like
kind
any ungulate.
Yeah.
Are they an ungulate? Is that a correct term for them
ungulate?
Or no? Excuse me, ungulate.
Ungulate. No, elephant. That means like foot stuff, right? That means like That means like hoof. Ungulate is like.
Oh yeah.
Something to do with the foot.
Well, you're the zookeeper.
Well, yeah. Elephants have individual toes, so they're not necessarily ungulates. I think ungulates has to do something with feet. I believe. I don't know.
Probably does.
I just pick up elephant poop. I don't really know that kind of stuff, but.
Fair enough.
Is that recycled?
Sometimes they take it, but a lot of times elephants are keystone species, so that they poo out there, and then we have other things that grow from the poop.
Oh,
beautiful.
Yeah, natural
fertilization.
Yeah.
I have a question. So you said you're like the one and only dude that started your organization. What exactly are you going to these places to do? Like, what are you doing in Cambodia right now? What are you doing?
Well, right now I do target training. I'm starting a process of target training elephants.
Love it.
The power just went out, so I might lose you.
What is target? I don't know what target training is. Can you explain that?
Yeah.
Target training is basically you have a point of reference for the animal to go to. So I have a long stick, and I teach the elephant to touch its head first on the stick. Touch.
Okay.
And then I move that stick to another part of the body, for example, the front feet, so then the elephant can pick up its front foot.
Okay.
And then the side of the body, and the back feet, and then different things. What this does is, so I'm distracted by the fan just when I'm dying. What it does is it allows us to care for them in a humane and consistent way, in a nice way, as opposed to taking a bull hook and using negative reinforcement to force the animal
like, give me your foot.
To raise its foot, or if they have a medical treatment that you have to do daily, for example, you don't have to chain up the animal to restrain it and do all these things that are really invasive and uncomfortable. It becomes unsafe, stressful, nothing good about it. So what happens is I try to implement a kind of more proactive approach. And what I always do every place I go to, I say, I call them oh shit problems. So basically these elephants can be great and moving around and they're fine, but they're also under our care. So we're responsible to care for them. Right.
Sure.
So if they get an issue, for example, in their feet, most elephants aren't trained to pick up their feet. Most elephants aren't trained for foot care, for example. So if they get a foot issue, oh shit, what are we going to do? So when you take care of an elephant's foot, you need access to the bottom of the foot, right? It's a lot of, without getting too in depth. To take care of an elephant's foot, you need access to the bottom of the elephant's foot. A lot of people when the elephant just stands there, you can't force that animal to pick its foot up outside of putting a negative reinforcement generally. So I try to implement positive reinforcement, being proactive, and allow us to care for them in a humane way. So I'll do that here. Foot care. There's an elephant here who's a very special elephant who I love dearly. Her name is Sambo. She's got some foot issues because she used to walk for about 20 years around the streets of Phnom Penh giving rides. So it really did damage to her feet. And so I kind of specialize in foot care, so I do that. But this is an easy place. Here I just enhance these elephants' lives. There's elephants out there in temples, in riding camps, in different places that are really, really brutalized. And so I'm inspired to go help those elephants, to give them one day of freedom, give them one day
of not having a sore foot.
Well, give them one day to have a choice, and to maybe not get the shit beat out of them, or not get and just show things a different way.
Sure.
And being a white guy from the West, you have to kind of go places and kind of convince people in a sense that you're not crazy. You actually know what you're talking about, and a lot of it is about teaching compassion. How do you make people care? How do you make people care?
Do you have any support from the government for what you're doing, or?
No, I'm strictly donation based. I have a small group of supporters who I love to death, and so no, it's just I have to raise money. People always say, well, you should have people pay you. Well, for me, it's about helping elephants, and the moment I start asking for money from these organizations, they're gonna kick me in the ass and tell me to leave. So it's one less obstacle. Right, because
it's like why? It's like no.
Yeah, exactly. And seeing places and seeing how people live, knowing that there's no way they could pay me.
Right.
And their elephant suffering.
Yeah.
It's about helping the elephant. So to answer your question, I'm a legitimate 501c3 charity, and if I have money, I can take this money and I go to places and I offer my services, and I take care of these animals. I teach people and how to be more humane, I guess.
So he's not a Joel Osteen of the elephants, is what we're getting at here. He doesn't have 7 Rolls Royces and Gucci loafers that he's helping clean elephant feet.
Are people that you're going to, are they generally receptive to what you say, or are they saying, what the hell do you know about elephants? You were born in the U.S.
Correct.
You only see elephants in the zoo and the circus.
It's a mixed bag. Right now, the more I do, the more attention I'm bringing, the more people seem to trust me a little bit more. But the places that don't want my help, that don't want nothing to do with me, are the places that need it the most, right? So
Of course.
So
they probably don't want to be exposed.
They
probably don't want you to expose them.
If you go to a temple, for example, and pick the country, it doesn't matter. Elephants are brutalized in these temples. So if I go to a temple to see an elephant that's chained to the floor so that I can get my blessing and have the elephant touch me on my head, kind of thing, that there's two things involved with that. One is what does this guy know who's not, that religion, and also how dare I criticize their religion? They make it about religion when what it has to do with that elephant, right? So.
Right. It's like no one's saying there's no problem with your religion. I respect your religion. But hey, maybe we don't have to beat the shit out of and brutalize this beautiful animal and be religious. But there's a way to do both.
But they make it they make it religious, and I make it about the elephant. And again, it's like how do you convince people? How do you, so
I have a question.
Well, do you ever try? Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah. Well, no, you can go, Guy. Go ahead.
Is there anything that you have to learn maybe in their religion that talks about compassion that
Absolutely.
you can use? Well, I don't want to say use against them, but use to propose your argument and say that applies to this elephant.
Again, what do I know about their religion? So regardless of what
do you know
I
about
say,
Hinduism or
exactly. It's a good example. So it's in there, and you have to study it and know it well to do that. But if I say, well, in your religion, it's about establishing relationships. It's about earning trust. That's why I never say anything bad publicly about places because I want to help those elephants. The moment I start betraying people's trust, saying that they're shit, they don't know what they're doing, they'll say, screw you, never come back here. How dare you say that? So it's really just about helping these elephants. It's just about, to answer your question, in their minds, I don't know what I'm talking about anyway. So I can't question them on their religion because I read something in a book somewhere. If they're living that religion, right? So.
Okay. No, that makes a lot of sense. It's like, okay, white man, you want to quote Hindu scripture to me, like, fuck off. Go back to America.
It's like anything. I had a college professor tell me once, and it sticks with me, the hardest thing in life is trying to convince somebody of something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh,
right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go there and try to convince people that maybe they shouldn't hit the elephant on the head. And maybe the elephant's feet are falling off because it's chained up on concrete all day long. What the hell do I know? Well, so it's hard. It's hard. It's hard. So the places that want me to go are pretty well off. But I need to be, in the back alleys, going in the back door to places and helping those elephants that are really, really suffering. But I'll help any elephant anywhere. It doesn't matter to me. It's about these elephants.
Sure.
The ones that are in your village.
Let Sam go.
Go ahead, Sam.
No, go.
You go, Sam.
No,
Sam,
just real quick. It has nothing. I'm going to totally change the subject and rewind a minute.
Take your time. I have all night as long as Wi-Fi and power goes on.
Perfect. We'll keep you here for forever.
Well, so you're a one-man show. So I just want to say, would you ever consider this guy? Because I'm serious. That operant conditioning stuff, that's why I was a zookeeper for so long. I got really into operant conditioning. And it's just for them to be able to participate in their own healthcare is huge. And that's why we trained everything. So I'm very versed in how to do it and what it's about. Yes. And everything. We could do a whole episode on it, Elle, if you want to. We could talk about it all day. I love it.
We could. Well, actually, sidebar. Can I brag on you, Sam, in a minute?
Oh, maybe. I don't know what you're gonna say. Yeah. But anyway. But is there a way that maybe one day, and not like to pay me to come out there, but would you could I come?
I don't pay myself, so I'm definitely not paying you.
Could I come to where you are, help you one day? I mean, it's not going to be anytime in the near future, but just keep in touch with us and tell me where you are, and one day if I'm available.
The problem is, well, I'm open to. People have asked before. You're not the first. I'm open to all of that, but there's problems with that. There's a financial thing. It's
sure.
expensive to fly here. I don't pay the people here when I'm there,
right.
But people who would come with me, I can't just have people come with me and expect to have everything for free, I guess.
Oh no, I don't expect anything for free. No. I
Yeah,
pay my
No,
own
we'll
way.
pay our way.
I
So-
understand.
We'll pay
I
our
just
way.
come there
No.
for the animals. No, I'm all
Yeah,
about
we'll
the
donate.
animals
We'll
too. I'm
donate.
not about right.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking about doing an intern program, but it might not be cost
That would be
effective
awesome.
for people to do it, because they would just hang out with me basically and kind of see what I do and learn things. I'm thinking about that, but I don't want to burden the people that I'm helping also with people there. There's got to be some benefit for the people that I'm helping also financially as well,
Well,
because just
Sam
have
is a
people.
Right.
zookeeper, so I mean, I feel
Yeah,
like
well,
I feel like
it's
I know how to
if
shovel
you
some
were to have a
shit.
guest, I feel like if you were to have an intern, Sam would be the one because she actually knows what the fuck she's doing.
Yeah, we can talk
would be
about it
really
later.
fun.
We can talk about it later. I don't want to take up your
Okay.
guys' time talking about this, but
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
I'm
Awesome.
not opposed to
That's
it,
all.
but it's not just my decision basically.
Right. Of course.
Right.
Of course.
Okay.
Okay. So
So
speaking
That's
of,
all.
okay.
no. You've asked like 20 questions. So speaking of target training, because I was about to say, hey, Sam's done that. And Sam always talked like animals would talk about. She's like teaching the bats how to open their wings so they can check their wings. And it's not like, oh, come here, bat. I'm going to just open your wings up and, you're going to be screaming and it's terrible for everybody. And then she trained cassowaries to voluntarily get injections, actually, and she won an award. Sam, I'm going to brag on you whenever I get the chance, so just get over it.
Yes.
But yeah, so,
Okay.
instead of having to not euthanize, it's like anesthetize the animal and then give them the shot and then,
Anesthetize.
not euthanize, fuck. Anesthetize the animal and then give them their shot. She got these velociraptors to just kind of come up to the fence, get their little shot, and then be on their way. And it wasn't traumatic for anybody.
Yeah, I'm really
Okay.
into
She's the,
voluntary injections.
She's
I
a
can do that with
dinosaur
anything.
whisperer.
Yeah, she's the
Yeah,
she's the dinosaur whisperer.
target training is great, but it's what's more important is positive reinforcement training, because here we built fences just out of wood, tied them to trees, but a lot of facilities aren't equipped to do target training because they have to have some sort of barrier, some sort of thing set up to be able to do target training with elephants. But what I've done prior to even the whole target training is just, instead of the guys trying to hit them or threaten them, maybe we get some food and try to come at it from a different angle, and you'll see how much better the elephants are. The idea is that we don't want to give the elephants a reason to want to smash us, even though they have every reason in the world to kill all of us because of the stuff they've been through.
Least
So,
intrusive, most positive. That was our philosophy. Was least
Oh,
intrusive,
there
most
we go.
positive way.
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
here there's yes. Rules. Well, rules are you have to kind of be understanding of what you're coming into also, and you can't say you have to change all these things, then you can do this. You can, mine's kind of a practical approach where regardless of where the elephant is, I can make the elephant's life better. And that's
Sure.
kind of where I come from, right?
Sure. So I want you to touch on, Steve, the foot care stuff, because you've got this weird elephant foot fetish, as we all know.
That's what I hear. Yeah, people
Just
say
kidding.
that to me all the
Kind
time.
of. Yeah. Right. So he's the foot guy, if you know what I mean. But can you tell us a little bit more, like when we first talked about how, like them walking on concrete for years and years just destroys their feet and they get these like ulcers, and then, it's just a constant battle trying to, for fighting infection. Can you go into that a little bit more and like what you do in terms of foot care and how that kind of became your specialty?
Yeah. Well, working at the zoo, I worked at the zoo for 14 and a half years, and at the zoo in Phoenix, we had an elephant there who had real bad feet. And so my mentor came and kind of taught me. She had abscess in her feet because her feet were twisted. She was kind of deformed a little bit. Her feet were twisted inward, so they didn't wear normally. So it kind of forced me, for 12 years to how to take care of these feet and see the evolution of it and what you're doing, what you're looking at. And I've kind of, embraced it. And my mentor is amazing. He's probably the world's best, captive elephant, professional in the world. But he's known for his foot care also. And so I'm lucky to work under him. But the simple analogy is that elephants walk on their toes, right? So Asian elephants have 5 toes on the front and 4 on the back. Africans have 4 on the front and 3 on the back. General rule. Elephants walk on their toes, right? So perfect analogy. You guys can all do it. If you push on your nail, I'll do it to the camera there. If you push on your nail, right? You push down on your nail. The moment your nail becomes white, right? There's no more blood flow in that nail, right? So imagine doing that for 20 years.
No,
Or-
thank you.
Or however long it takes. If you keep doing this, what's going to happen? Well, it's going to bruise, right? Then you're probably going to lose that nail. Then you'll probably lose that nail, right? And then it's going to go up into your bone if you keep doing that, right? Then we get osteomyelitis, which is what elephants will get, being on concrete for 30, 40, 50 years, chained in the same spot, not walking, being on hard surfaces. It's basically like that all the time. It's abnormal pressure on the feet, and that causes problems. They get problems for different reasons, but that's the main one, is this abnormal pressure forms within the feet. If they have an injury, or if they have got a deformity, or if they're chained a certain way, all these things contribute. After about age 30, their feet start to break down. They start to develop these problems from things that they've done for the first half of their life. So,
Sure.
in a nutshell, that's what happens. And it takes a keen, specialized person, a special eye to see and know what you're doing, and trim the foot accordingly to what the elephant's doing, in a nutshell.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
So, I mean, no, yeah. So, I mean, it's just, I mean, is that essentially kind of why we shoe horses? Because just that bare nail on concrete or whatever, like that's
Totally
not going to end well.
Totally
Okay.
different. Yeah, it's totally different. Horses
Okay.
have hooves, right? I've never
Right.
shoot a horse. I don't know much about horses, but elephants literally have individual feet.
Right.
like-
They've got
like
their
us.
toes.
They're
Yeah.
actually on their toes. And horses have hooves, right? So
Right.
I imagine the idea is the same about pressure on the hoof. But with elephants, yeah, it's very different than a horse hoof.
Right. Now, Sam, is that the same for rhinos? Because it's the same. I think Sam was telling us when we did our rhino episode, like they can't be on concrete either. It's that messes them up. Do I have that correct, Sam?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It messes up their toes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
It's the
similar
same.
All right.
concept.
No animal should be on
Similar.
concrete. We just make it that way.
Right.
Because it's easy for us to clean it, right?
So
anyway,
Exactly.
when you did you learn Cambodian
Cambodian. Wow.
language
Okay.
before you went, or did you
Khmer,
learn it?
no, I don't. It's
Khmer.
hard for me because normally, if it non-COVID related stuff, I'll be in like 6 countries in like 6 months, because I'll
Right.
get a tourist visa. You get 30 days generally. You go somewhere, so I'll be in Thailand, then I'll go to Vietnam, then I'll come to Cambodia, and then I'll go to Indonesia, then I'll go to India, Sri Lanka, all these different languages. So by the time you learn something, you kind of forget. You got to kind of really immerse yourself. For me personally,
Right.
I wish I could learn a language. I don't try that hard because I want to say thank you in Khmer here. But I'm thinking, okay, that's Thai, or that's, so I know a few words here and there, but the good thing is I can kind of communicate with the mahouts when we're talking elephant stuff. Somehow it works out, which is the important
That's
part.
awesome. Right. That's awesome. So with their foot care, so like, I guess what's the worst thing you've seen? Just like do you have elephants? Do you got elephants that have like these abscesses that just won't heal, and it's kind of like a death sentence? And then what do you do from there?
It can be. I've seen some really, really sad, terrible things from elephants, and they end up dying from it. Actually, some elephants I've known in the past have died from foot problems. The elephant here, Sambo, she's got a wonderful life. She's got so much free. Her feet are messed up but that's because for 30, 40 years, she was in an improper environment, and really only the past, I think she's been here 7 years, I think. And really only the past 7 years has she had a chance to kind of be an elephant, but she's 60 now. So for 50 years, she was in a bad environment, and
that's so sad.
It's like anything, right? So you can't, if these issues are caused from 30 or 40 years of improper environment, whatever caused these problems over that time frame, it's unrealistic to think that with one trim you can fix it, or with
of course.
So Sambo's going to require lifelong, intense care for the rest of her life. But she's absolutely wonderful. There's videos on my Facebook. I got a YouTube channel. There's some stuff there too. She's an amazing elephant. Yeah, and her feet look terrible, but she's got a great life. She, it's kind of like a catch-22 with her. Like, we could keep her close, keep her, near the base camp real close, and just keep her, like, her foot clean and try to trim it and take care of it. but psychologically and physically that might not be the best. She needs to be walking and moving, the blood flowing up and down these hills with her buddy Ruby. And these two girls, pal around and are pretty awesome. So I'll be with them in the morning, and then part of my day is that. So
cool.
But yeah, I mean, it's really a sad thing because a lot of people don't really know how to take care of elephant feet. They see something on the foot, but that's caused because there's pressure on the foot. So they'll put like ointment on it. They'll put these things on it. And yeah, so that's
nope. Hold on.
Yeah, it's kind of a lost
hold on.
art.
You're back. You're back. Sorry, we lost you first. Yeah, we just lost you for a second. But that was kind of the next question I had for you is, does some of your, I don't want to say patients are like elephant friends, but like, does some of the elephants recognize you after a while? They're like, hey, that's the guy that gives me my, pedicure, or, do they, because
people ask me that all the time. And what the elephants do see with me is something totally different. I'm like an alien. So I'm a white guy.
You are white, yes.
I don't speak the language. I talk very sweet, soft, not what they're used to. Here, in Southeast Asia, the mahouts, when they're with the elephants, they speak in a very firm tone. They are very kind of boisterous, and I'm like the exact opposite. I'm giving them treats and food while I'm doing these things. And so they're kind of like,
what is
this guy doing? This is okay.
Right.
This is okay. No, but I'm kind of beyond all of that now. For me, right. I just need to take care of these elephants. I don't need them to love me. I don't need to hug and kiss them. That makes me feel good.
Right.
Generally, right?
Right.
What I need to do, is important, is to be able to take care of those elephants, and that's what's important. So I've kind of not really, I put good energy out there. I talk sweet. It's very emotional for me, but I don't necessarily need them to remember me and give me a hug. Like that doesn't do any of us any good. What's important is that, if we need to draw blood, we can draw blood, or if we need to trim their foot, we can do that. That's what's important, not the fact that I can hug and
they'll
kiss
voluntarily do it.
Correct.
Right.
So,
but wait, no, question. No, I just want to build on that. But in the past, like when they do see you, will they come up to you though? Will they be like, "Hey, it's the white man"? Or, were they kind of like be a little more curious when you show up?
What I find is when I work with them, whether it's target training or something, I have food. So what they'll do is when we cross paths wherever we are, the elephants will kind of come toward me and follow me because I'm the guy that has the food or had the food, right? So it's
right.
It's not because they like me or love me. It's because I have food.
Yeah.
And that's that's the misconception that most people take is, the elephant loves me, and the elephant's looking for food, So
yeah, my dog does the same thing at the beach. But I was asking that because when we had these wonderful lion rangers on from a conservancy in Kenya, the animals knew like to go to them if they had problems. Like I think an elephant got shot in the ear or something, and it was just at the at their like main hut or whatever. I don't want to say hut, but like their office essentially, just kind of waiting around out there like, hey, I got a bullet in my ear, or I don't remember where he got shot, but like they knew where they could get help. And he says like they don't keep them in that spot, but they'll just every now and then a wounded animal will show up and just kind of hang out until someone they can get a vet there to help it.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I mean, the intense work that we do on these elephants, for example, elephants with foot problems, the fact that they kind of voluntarily put their foot up or allow us to care for them without being so resistant, or even though we know that it hurts them, we know they're uncomfortable. Ultimately, I think that they know that we're trying to help them.
Right. You're not trying to make their life worse.
Yeah, I think that they know that instinctively, because there's really no reason for them to kind of come near or do these kinds of things. So they're amazing. They really are amazing animals.
That's so
great. I just want to say real quick, I was just on it's elephantvalleyproject.org, and you can see pictures of the elephants that you're talking about. And Ruby and Sambo are the cutest ones there. They are so adorable, but they have pictures and they have what their favorite foods are. And you can actually click and sponsor them if you want to send them money and stuff. But oh my God, Sambo's adorable.
Yeah.
And so is Ruby.
Sambo's almost totally blind, unfortunately. Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, she's in her late 50s. They're all wonderful animals, and we would cry if I told you the stories about any one of any captive elephant in general. No. But these guys have all had their stories, and But here, they win. They win. Being here, they win. It's
Well,
the
it
best
sounds like
place.
it. They get to
It's the best place
be
that
an
they could
elephant.
be. So
Yeah,
and that's
I mean,
what it's
What's the
about.
name again,
It's about
Sam?
elephants winning.
right.
ElephantValleyProject.org.
Now, do you have to be worried about poachers? Although, I mean, I know you're in what's essentially like, I'm going to equate it to American terms. Sorry, dumb Americans. Like, a national park, but do they still have to worry about poaching even in those national parks or that national forest that they're
Not
in?
so much here. I mean, poaching is more
Okay.
for the ivory. I mean, some
Right.
Asian elephants, only the males grow the tusks, whereas
Oh, okay.
Africans, both males and females grow tusks. The issue that
Sure,
Asian elephants
sure.
have right now is the human elephant conflict, where as the population grows, elephants do their thing, but now they're a nuisance because they eat the farm that wasn't there last year because now so people will poison them, electrocute them, that kind of thing.
Oh, shit.
Not
Oh my
necessarily
God.
not necessarily here. They've actually been really
Right.
tolerant of the wild elephants here, but in a lot of places, that's people's livelihood, and so that they feel that
Right.
they anyway. It's sad all the way around, really. It really is. But
Right.
poaching
They
doesn't.
feel
On occasion, elephants will be male Asian elephants will be killed for their tusks. Excuse me. But that's not really their biggest threat. That's more for the African
okay.
elephants.
Okay. Well, at least that's one less threat for them. Jesus. I mean,
So in your what's the proper word? Is it reserve? Is it sanctuary? What do you call that area that you're working in?
Well, this place is for sure a sanctuary. I mean, like I said, these elephants are kind of like semi-wild elephants, but it really doesn't matter what you label it. It matters what you do and what you have.
Right.
Because you could. People hate zoos, but if you put sanctuary on that, then they love it, even though it could be like the same exact thing. And I know places that call themselves sanctuaries, whatever, but I also know zoos that take really good care of their elephants better than the sanctuaries do.
Oh, yeah.
Or a place, they just change their names, depending on whatever, because of the Western
buzzword.
influence.
They look for those buzzwords.
Yeah.
Right. They're looking for those buzzwords.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you trying to breed elephants there, or you're not?
No, he's just helping them.
What? I mean, if it happens, is it
here? No, there's really it's an aging population here with these captive elephants. They only have one male, and he's old as well. So they're not trying to breed, and it's always kind of like the catch-22. I mean, if you breed elephants in captivity, are you doing it just to keep them in captivity and keep them in a real shitty place? If they have a really good life and they breed, it's great for baby elephants are great for elephants, but it kind of depends on why we're doing it, why we want to do it. Again, I don't. It's not my thing. I don't specialize in any of that, but I have kind of opinions about it. Especially when I try to train the babies and work with the babies and people working with the babies. That's always kind of an issue. So that's kind of more my challenge. If they're here, they're here. But do we need to have more here if they're going to be in the same type of situation, if we can't evolve and do more for them?
Right. So if one happens to get pregnant, it's like, okay, great, we're having a baby. But if that's not the focus. The focus is not reproducing. It's just you get to be an elephant for the rest of your life.
Not for me. I'm not really one to speak. I don't have a place. I don't have. I just kind of float around. So it's really not for me to say, this or that.
Sure.
Like if a place was amazing and they had babies, sure. But if their place is really shitty and they had babies, that's terrible. Because that's 60 years of suffering for that baby, right? So, anyway.
Yeah.
How is in the sanctuary where you're at right now? How is the elephant's food supply? Is there enough for them to eat?
Yeah. They move them throughout the forest, and right now it's been raining a lot, so that's good. It's had a lot of. But yes, they eat. Elephants eat about 200 and something different species of plants, and so.
Wow.
Yeah, they choose what they want throughout the forest. They will supplement their food if they need to, so that they are monitored. They're not just out there. So they're watched and cared for. They get health checks every week here. They'll supplement their food. They got some older elephants in their 60s that they have to supplement their food and make sure they're doing okay. But yeah, their food source is good. They look healthier now than I've seen them in the past. And this is my fourth trip here, so they look really good right now. COVID really hasn't
That's awesome.
affected the elephants here too much. Luckily, they're one of
That's
the
great.
How about water? Do you guys have special like troughs, or do they go to natural watering?
Here they have a freshwater stream, where the mahouts will take them down to the freshwater streams in their areas and allow them to drink 2 or 3 times a day.
Oh, great.
But that's also an issue, like, in a lot of zoos and a lot of, places, depending on where, but I'm speaking mostly about Southeast Asia, these elephants are chained up and they get, a chance to drink once a day or maybe twice a day. They don't really have free access to water, that kind of thing. And that stuff has to change. That's the one thing, you can at least give them quality food and water constantly.
Right. Yeah.
So
like bare minimum.
These are just things. Yeah. But it's again, it's just, things are the way they are. And it's really kind of sad. There's things that I've seen, I cry privately a lot. So, it's things like that have to change, but it's anyway.
I want to ask you a controversial question, and maybe you don't know the answer to this, but how did, in your opinion, how did the Ringling Brothers take care of their elephants? Did you?
Well, it depends who you ask. I mean, this is a whole circus, zoos, sanctuaries. It's a whole very controversial thing. And I'll speak as far as circuses and zoos, and I'll speak just in some cases, circus elephants have a better life than zoo elephants, because at least circus elephants would be in a different place every 10 days or something like that. Should they be performing, riding, doing all these things? No, they shouldn't be doing that. But psychologically, they're in a different place every 10 days, whereas they're in a zoo, they're in there for 40, 50 years, right? So
yes,
there's different ways to look at it. I'm not going to say this is terrible, this is good, this is better. It's about what we're doing for these elephants, right? If I say that's terrible, then I can help those elephants. I can help any elephant, right? So I don't need to pick sides. Because every circumstance is different. Every place is different. The people that care for them are different. Just because somebody's an elephant keeper here and an elephant keeper there doesn't mean that they agree. Doesn't mean that they treat the elephants the same way. So there's a lot of different factors involved in all of this. But the public pressure forced Ringling to shut down. So.
Well, I don't know if you saw that leaked video. It's terrible. It brought me to tears, and I do not cry, but there's just a horrific training video. I think a mom and a juvenile, and the head trainer in there he has like the bull hooks, and he's literally like, make them scream. Because they're trying to get him to walk in the circle. And it's just, it's torture. They're literally just torturing them. And, you can see one of the new guys is kind of like, I'm not really feel comfortable with this. But it's just, and they're crying, you can hear them crying, and it's gut wrenching. Cause it's like, you shouldn't be in this tent. You shouldn't be tortured like this just to perform stupid tricks. But I get what you're saying. You're there. You just want to make their life better. You're not there to criticize. You're not there to make people feel bad. It's just, hey, you can improve this elephant's quality of life by just doing this one thing or these couple of things. We don't have to dwell on you're a horrible person. You're keeping, you have this elephant in captivity, but while it's in captivity, we can make its life not suck so bad.
Well, I mean, in order to keep elephants in the circus or in temples or walk them down the street, you have to have some sort of control, and that control only revolves around abuse.
Right.
However you look at it, those elephants got to be controlled in some way, and then we see stories of them rebelling and
going on a rampage, and it's like,
killing people.
Can you blame them? No, not really. And then I know
not at all. I mean, pretty much every captive elephant has every reason to kill every one of us. So their stories are pretty tragic. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, when you hear about like those escaped circus elephants, it's kind of like, well, this has probably been a long time coming. So yeah. And then
I'm kind of beyond that whole argument. The stuff that I see is so much worse than any circus could ever be. At least the circus in North America. Circuses in Southeast Asia are
brutal.
Zoos are brutal. I mean, there's a lot of it's very different. And so people, you have to go and see it. You have to kind of experience it and to make an educated judgment about it. But the fact is, if you put an
Sure.
elephant in an unnatural environment and expect it to do unnatural things, it's usually not treated very nicely.
Right.
So, are you related to the Elephant Valley Project, or
No,
He's there right now.
nope.
okay?
I'm just here helping out.
Oh, I see.
Steve is just a genuinely good human being that is just there to help. He doesn't want anything in return. Just to help.
I came here initially the first time after I was in Thailand, and one of the founders of this place, he had a place in Thailand. I met him there, talked about feet. He said, I need you to go to Cambodia and help Sambo out. So here I am. So that was that was in 2018. I came here for the first time, and they're good people, and then they want me here, and it works out. I was able to get out of the States and come and kind of do what I do. So,
hey, have you seen? Have you, just real quick? Have you seen the? There's somebody here, and there might be more than one person, and I can't remember his name, but he actually makes prosthetics for elephants and like big animals like that. Like he's an animal prosthetic maker dude.
There's a couple.
Have you ever had an elephant
that
needed prosthetics or anything like that?
There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them out here that need them for different reasons, whether they're broken legs or a lot of them are landmine injuries actually. So and their legs get blown off or snares, they lose their foot in the snare. It's all man-made stuff that why these elephants lose their limbs. And so there's different companies that do it. I know a few elephants that have prosthetics. But there's all kinds of stuff out there.
Okay,
sure.
That's all. It was super cool. I just thought it was really neat. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Wait. So will they just be in the forest and they'll just step on a landmine? I mean, how does that happen? Or how do they?
It's probably left over from the war.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Is that common in Vietnam? Is that
Vietnam? I know Thai elephants that have stepped on landmines. Yeah, there's I mean, these elephants live 50 to 60, 70 years. These elephants live a long time. So.
Right. Okay. So I know, controversial topic. Where are you? Do you guys is trophy hunting as prolific in Southeast Asia as it is in Africa?
No.
That's great. That's great.
I'm not really one to speak on that that's a whole African thing, hunting and whatever. I don't hunt. I don't agree with hunting. I grew up in Michigan. They hunt there. I didn't agree with it there, let alone hunting endangered animals either. So it's just all about money. It's just all about money. Everything's about money. So these animals are losing, and it's sad all the way around.
And that's what we talk about too. It's like, these people will shell out the 50, 60, 30 grand to go kill a leopard or, giraffe or elephant in Africa. And it's like, and they're like, oh, I'm doing it because I love them. And it's like, well, if you love them, just donate the money. Why do you have to kill one of them to make you feel good, you sicko? Yeah, I mean, we're that's not one of our fortes here, if we're being completely honest. But it's to us, it's just very gross. Again, it's like, if you really care, just donate the money. If you have the money if you have that money to spend to go kill it, why don't you go see it and not kill it and just donate to the reserve? If you really care.
So that we don't keep him up all night, why don't we talk about how people can support you in what you're doing?
Yes, give you plug yourself. Plug yourself, Steve.
Yes.
Donate. Donate's always a key thing. You can donate on my website, elephantcareunchained.com.
Elephantcareunchained.com.
We'll tag Steve in our Instagram. Obviously, we'll keep tagging him. We'll tag him in our Instagram. We'll link to his. We'll put the link to the website. But yeah, it's elephantcareunchained.org. Correct? Is that correct? .com. Sorry, apologies. Elephantcareunchained.com. Definitely go check it out if you can. Please do donate. I mean, he's doing excellent things. He does not make any money off this. Again, he's not some hack like Joel Osteen. He's
who?
As far as we know of, he doesn't have like 7 Rolls Royces and Gucci loafers. As far as we know, he could.
Yeah. No, I don't have a place of my own at home. I don't have a home. I stay with family and friends when I go back to the States. So that's a fact. But it's my choice. I've given up. It's not a sacrifice. It's an investment in elephants. but I don't have that's those kinds of things. But what's also important, I just want to say that donating is great, but spread the word, and maybe just when you go somewhere that has elephants, like I said at the beginning, take yourself, step back for a second and think about those animals that we are entertained by. Think about those animals that when we have our little selfies and all that kind of stuff with them, think about them for a second before you do these things.
Yeah, like, who is this really for? It's for you. It's not for them.
Right. So yeah, and I think that's important too. That there's so much going on. There's so many things.
Yeah. Could you tell us a couple of places in the U.S. that you think are doing it right, like that we can, if we wanted to visit an elephant, who's doing it right?
Visit an elephant.
Well, I've been out of the zoo game for a while, but there's the Paws Sanctuary in Northern California, there in San Andreas, and there's also the Paws, Paws, yeah, and there's also the Elephant Sanctuary in Hohenwald, Tennessee, that do good work there as well.
So, well, Sam, that's by you.
The sanctuary is not open to the public. The one in Tennessee, Paws.
I know about that place.
Again, you know about Paws? Yeah.
Sam's in North Carolina.
Yeah, I know about the one in Tennessee. Okay. I had a friend from zoo school who went and interned at the one in Tennessee, and she absolutely loved it. Yeah. That they do have interns and stuff that go there, and I had a friend that went there. That's how I know about that.
Like I said, I'm not really. I know the people there, and they do good stuff. I have zoo friends, but that's all of my stuff is in Southeast Asia. I don't really. I mean, I would go help zoos, but there's other people for that. I've kind of found my niche out here in Southeast Asia and help the elephants that are much worse off than in any zoo in North America or any circus. The elephants out here in Southeast Asia are in really, really bad shape. A lot of them.
Well, thank you for doing what you're doing. And
then, really quick, also, yes, please spread the word. Subscribe to our channel. We're on YouTube. Subscribe on Instagram. Please leave us a review on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, whatever platform you listen to us. And please spread the word. If not for us, please do it for the animals. I mean, that's why we're here. That's why we do this. We don't make any money off of this show. It's just we like to expose people to all the wonderful animals that are out there in the world. And if you can, please do make a donation to Elephant Care Unchained. And when I was first talking with Steve, if you can, do a monthly donation. So, I mean, obviously, if you can donate $20 up front, and that's what you can do for right now, obviously that's fantastic and that will be taken. But if you can do like a monthly $5, $6, $7 donation, that is what really makes the difference in the long run for Steve to keep helping these animals, with helping him with travel, getting equipment, being able to get to these locations and whatnot. Those are the ones that make a difference. So if you're buying coffee every day, you can afford to make a monthly donation.
There's also, if you want something for your money, if you're one of those people that don't want to just donate, he has merch too. I'm going to get me some t-shirts and some hoodies in a second. I'm looking at it.
Right.
Oh, he does.
But
yes.
Oh, yeah, super cute. Yeah. So if you want a t-shirt or something, that also helps. So anything.
Right.
Yeah. And speaking of merch, that cost me $25 a month to have it on my website right now, because I haven't sold many in the past couple of months. So yeah, that's
I'm
also
about to
great.
change that.
We're about to change it
awesome.
too. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely, we're about to get some official Elephant Unchained merch.
And
then speaking of merch, we're about to launch our merchandise. I just had a friend create a great new merch logo for us, so that's coming up down the pipeline. But for right now, focus Elephant Care Unchained. Go buy merch. If you could do monthly donation, do that. Even if it's just $5, that adds up, and it's for a fantastic cause. Again, he's not some sham. Like, you know how we are on the show. We don't like to have like fake, I kind of care about the animals. I'm doing it for me though. That's not how we roll on this show. But thank you so much, Steve, for your time and for what you do.
Yes, thanks for doing what you're doing.
We really, I'm sure it's a thankless
from Michigan
job.
Wants to be out of there in the wintertime, that's for sure.
Thank you guys for having me. If there's any questions or anything, you guys can go to my website, and there's my email address. You can email me there. Every contact that goes through social media is me. Everybody. I don't have anybody answering questions, so everything that comes out comes from me. So if I said something that you didn't like or whatever or anything,
Well, we've
you
yet
need
to get hate
elaborate
mail.
more. Yeah, I get that too. So, which is sad.
Well,
But
thank you for doing what you're doing.
yeah,
Who could hate? Okay, that's just nuts. But yes, thank you so much.
that's a whole
Thank you so much for listening, guys.
that's a whole nother podcast for that one.
Yeah, we could do
Yeah.
that.
Another
Hate mail.
episode.
Yeah.
But they
Yeah.
usually say that if people aren't complaining and saying bad things about you, then you're probably not doing something right. Right? Something like that.
What?
They
Wow.
do say that.
How are you
There's
complaining
no
about
such
taking
thing
care
as
of elephants?
bad
If people
publicity, they
criticize
say.
you and talk
Right.
about you, then it usually means that you're doing something right.
There you go. Thank you for doing what you're doing.
Something like that.
And
Thank you
we
so-
appreciate
yeah.
your time.
Or
All
full
right.
of shit, probably. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
that too. Yeah, that too. That too. Thanks as always for listening, guys. Find us on Instagram, Just Animals Pod. Check out Steve's Instagram, Elephant Care Unchained. Check out his website. Make a donation if you can. Buy some merch, and then we'll have an announcement on our Instagram for our merch, and we'll be tagging Steve up and all kinds of stuff on our page. And if you have any questions for Steve, feel free to contact him directly or send us an email or shoot us a message on Instagram. And we'll catch you guys next week.